How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael Thurber, photojournalist and sociologist here at VEDA World News. Now, as you well know, we deal with a lot of politicians here on this particular show. And this particular politician is no different. However, she does specialize in something very special, and we're going to let her introduce herself right now. Ma'am?
First of all, thanks for having me, Mike. I'm Arnetta Murry, Councilwoman of the City of Iowa Colony, Texas. That is what? Right on the outskirts of Houston. You have Pearland, you have Manville, and then Iowa Colony. I'm also, I don't know, I guess he wants me to give the whole lineage, and I guess I will do that. I'm also a special ed teacher for Houston Independent School District. I'm also on the board of Houston Federation of Teachers as well. There are many other positions. I'm a delegate for AFL-CIO. That is one of the major unions within our country, and I'm just so privileged and honored to be here with Mike. So I'm gonna let him have the show.
Let me have this.
I love to laugh till you go learn that about me.
It is A-OK. Now, you use the term colony. Mm-hmm. Now, can you explain to people who may not be familiar with that term when it comes to jurisdictions and things like that? What is a colony?
Well, let me say this. The name of the city is just Iowa Colony, Texas. That name was given for that particular city. That's not I can't tell you why, but that's what the name of that small, productive city that is growing immensely is. Iowa Colony, Texas.
Iowa Colony, Texas. You guys get out a map, take a look, and try to find it. It's right outside of Pearland, correct?
Exactly. And it's in the county of Missouri. Now, let's be very clear. I was born and raised in Houston, Harris County. Okay. So you got to know your different counties. It's not so. Again, we're talking about cities, but remember where those cities are placed is very prevalent. So again, I was born in Houston, went to Rothschild Sterling, know Gerald LeBeau exceptionally well. We grew up at the same church and everything. So again, and I'm in Iowa Colony, and I got there because at the time I was married, had 5 kids, now divorced, they're grown and gone, and I have a new life, and that new life was being in and helping the public.
Understood. Now, you wear a lot of hats.
I did.
How do you manage?
Oh, I wasn't expecting that, Michael. That is a good question. One thing I do believe in is that you have to get your rest. I'm the only child of a pastor, Reverend James Hicks and Onita Hicks. So I stand on the shoulders of what they've done for me. And I guess my dad taught me, you just got to do what you got to do while you got to do it. Because when you gone, that's it. So do all I can while you can.
Okay, so before we even start talking about politics, let me ask you, are you Democrat, Republican, or independent?
Honestly, I am a Democrat, but I was also told that because of my stance on many things, that could be known as Republican. So, but right now, I am focused on not the different parties, on how to make sure that we are moral representatives, because there's a lot going on right now that both parties are not taking responsibility.
Understood.
And so now, my new name for me is more representative, making sure I'm doing morally right for all.
Okay, and that sounds really good. Now, a lot of people are very familiar with the Democratic perspective on a lot of different things, especially with the 18th Congressional District map redistricting that's going on. But what are some of those Republican values that people may believe that you hold?
I think one of the things is family. Family is very important. And sometimes it could be, we know we have the new conventional family, you know, where you have 2 same-sex marriages or whatever, but some people still hold on to the value that a man and a woman, you know, should be in a relationship. However, you got to respect what people want to do with their lives. For example, I have 5 kids. I have a son that's gay, and then I have a middle son that's transgender. So then I have a daughter that's very conservative. Then I got twins that are just love women. So I have a very global family, if you will. Okay.
Would the term fluid be
fluid? I love that.
Appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a very fluid. He had to help me. That's because he's younger and I'm older. So that being so, fluid is what I have, and so you have to look at things from those vantage points, and that gives me the opportunity to make decisions to make sure I look at it in that kind of fluid mindset.
Okay. Let me ask you: for people who may hold the position that, hey, I don't think that's a good idea to have such a blended or fluid family, what would you say to them? Well,
I say I think that the thing is that then you can't make decisions that's more of a global mindset. You're gonna make a decision that's myopically, which means it's one you think it's one way, and it's not one way.
Understood.
We gotta make sure that we're making decisions that impact all, not just y'all.
Okay. And now going back to the Democratic side, what Democratic values do you hold?
What I do hold is that number one, liberty, freedom.
Okay.
People having the freedom to live the lifestyle they want that's not anybody's business.
Okay.
You should not, my transgender son should not be harmed because you don't like him.
Okay.
So I feel like this, you don't have to like me, and you can even hate me. You don't have right to harm me, and that's what I believe.
Understood.
Yeah.
So what do you stand for?
Me. Oh, personally, are you talking
Yes.
about personally?
Yeah,
or-
personally, politically, like what inspires you to get up every day and do what you do?
Well, let me say this. It was a derivative of a divorce. Now, typically, when you go through a divorce, you're so quick to go to somebody else. But for me, I had to have a personal, for me, and this is for me, nobody has a relationship with God that had me go into the community and help people. So when I started helping those that were struggling, it made me see that my life was not as downtrodden as I thought.
Understood.
And so when you take yourself out of what you're doing and focus on somebody else, it lets you know that your pain is not as prevalent as others. So I just started going in the community, helping those that were homeless, those that were being, when Trayvon Martin unfortunately got unalive. I have to stay unalive because I'm on TikTok.
No, understand something, that here on VEDA World News, we are uncensored.
Oh, okay.
So we do not censor people.
Didn't
we
know that.
believe very heavily and strongly in the First Amendment, and we don't tell you what you can and can't
love
say.
that. I
so
love that.
please feel free to speak plainly and freely.
Thank you. Well, he was murdered, to be honest. And so I started in Houston protesting because I knew I had sons his age at that time. And so it just started going from different things. I started currently with, her name is Reverend Griffin. Her son was killed in Harris County. He had autism. All he was trying to do was pay off his tickets, and he got killed.
How did that situation, was it a police officer or was
It was
another
in
person?
the jail, and it happened there at Harris County. As you know, Ed Gonzalez has a lot of questionable behavior in Harris County Jail.
Yes, and I know of one particular woman whose son was actually killed in Harris County jail. It is overpacked, understaffed, and I'm wondering, and just like any other people that's in Houston and around the world, I'm wondering, what are they going to do to solve that issue in Harris County jail with the understaffing, overcrowding, and just the deaths, the amount of deaths for people who are, unexplained?
I am glad you asked. I'm so grateful for
Okay.
Reverend Jocelyn Griffin, whose son happened to have that same unfortunate situation. She is a vocal voice. She's been going national. She has gone before the committee of jails in the state of Texas, and they've made some slight changes. They have this new program called participatory defense, which you have a group of people go to the different hearings to make sure they have a lawyer, make sure that lawyer is doing things to help that particular.
Understood.
Yeah, and so things are being done. I'm a part of that because I go to those meetings making sure this is me, Michael. I did not want to be a typical public official.
Okay.
I wanted to have my hands in it. I want to be there. I need to see. I need to understand. So that being said, that's what's going on. Jocelyn Griffin, she gonna love this shout out. She is the one, if you have issues, concerns about unfairness in Harris County jails, that's the one to go to.
Well, let's expand this conversation because it's not just Harris County Jail that are having the issue. It is the state penitentiary here in Texas for Texas Department of Criminal Justice, or TDCJ. Now, I had 3 or 4 different people here on VEDA World News to talk about the conditions within TDCJ, where, rats, mice, excessive roaches that these inmates have to live with. Unfortunately, what is being done to help them through these difficult processes and times, especially when Texas prisons do not have adequate heating or air conditioning?
What Jocelyn Griffin is doing is trying to bring attention to it, number one. Number two, one thing that was going on was that different inmates from Harris County was being shipped to Mississippi without the families knowing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And so Jocelyn Griffin, Reverend Griffin, she sort of put a stop to it by bringing attention to it. Again, she is the force that is really fighting, oh my God, to stop the injustice. And we understand that she's teaching me and taught me that, number one, yes, if you committed a crime, you should be punished. But you should not be put into inhumane
conditions.
Exactly. And so that's what she's doing.
Okay, so we've talked about Harris County Jail. We've talked about TDCJ. Now, when inmates or ex-offenders get out, what resources are available? Now, we do have one person, Triumphant Reentry Resources, TRR, by Jeffrey Taylor. He's also been on this show. But what can we do to stop the discrimination of ex-offenders in the workforce?
I'm glad you asked. I know Ken Ross. Ken Ross has, he's on my page as well.
Okay.
He has a program for those that are getting out.
I would love him to come here and talk about
And
that.
I would definitely reach out to him. He's on my Facebook page, and I've seen him. I've been in different venues, and he was there.
Okay.
So he's helping as well, trying to get that. Now, that's not really my expertise. I'm just grateful that I'm around them to learn and know that those resources are there. But he's one of those that are there pushing and making sure those ex-offenders have somewhere to go and have some type of job as well.
What are your expertise? See, when I hear someone say, I have expertise, I would love for people to be
that's
very,
funny.
clear and concise about what those expertise
That's
are.
funny. You know what? One thing of my expertise, being a mother, being
Okay.
a mother,
Okay.
being a mother, being an educator, being in governance,
Okay.
but being around such a multifaceted group of people has given me the wherewithal. I would not have known about Ken Ross. I would not have known about Jocelyn if I wasn't in those places, if you will. I would not have known about the different fights that we had for side there when they were being racially discriminatory with teachers. I would not have known anything when the Haitians were here and being sort of mistreated. When Congresswoman Sheila Jackson was here and we were struggling with Infomil, I would not have known about that if I wasn't there on boots on the ground working.
Now, let's talk about Texas education, right? And more specifically, teachers' unions, which you are a part of.
Yes, sir.
Are you meeting any resistance from Texas Governor Greg Abbott?
Of course.
How is it working out? How do you negotiate that?
It's a fight. But currently, right now, I'm in Houston ISD.
Okay.
Houston ISD, of course, is governed by TEA Mike Morath, which is Texas Education Commission. And then who's over all of that? Greg Abbott.
Gotcha.
So when you're vocal, when you're a good teacher, when you are not afraid, then they start doing things that somebody
Why is that? And it's not just for teachers, but it's in almost every industry. Why in education, though? I mean, we have a shortage of teachers. We have overcrowding in the classrooms. We have, just aberrant behavior from students in the classroom. I've actually seen teachers put in comas from the violence that American students project towards educators. You don't find that in other countries, by the way.
I know you're right.
But why?
I think because of the narrative that they're pushing with trying to change the democracy of our country. Where do you start? Education. If you want, so it's a bigger picture. What's sad about it is that they say on one end we love the kids, but then on the other end you are trying to get rid of teachers. Right now, I can say it. I'm on home duty. Why? Because I'm vocal. Why? Because
You're on home duty now.
Right now from HISD. And the reason why they said I took too many absences, even with doctor's excuses, which they're not adhering to. Even with my mother, I'm about to cry, who got sick unexpectedly. My mother's 93, very vibrant woman, very vibrant. I got good genes about that. But she had an issue that I had to choose between my job and her. I chose her. And guess what? I got reprimanded for that. They said you took too many days, even though I shared with them. See, when I tell a story, I tell my own story. I don't tell nobody's. And I think if I did not have the union lawyer, I would be without pay right now. But I'm fighting them saying, you guys are not treating teachers that have 2 more years to retire, me. You want to just put me out there. No, you're not going to do that.
I know of another educator with HISD. And for those who don't know what HISD is, because this is a worldwide broadcast, by the way.
I'm sorry.
It is the Houston Independent School District. She was recently let go.
So I'm not lying.
You see, but one of the differences between HISD and let's say Chicago CPS is that CPS has a union.
Yeah.
And it is, recognized throughout the state and really throughout the country. And I know for a fact, when those teachers go on strike, they get what they want.
They do. They do.
My mom, she's dead now. What's she do? 22 years in CPS.
I watch it.
So she's an educator herself.
Okay.
And I remember her coming home when they would have those strikes. And she would say stuff to me like, hey, listen, we wish we would find someone who's going to cross that picket line.
Okay.
We will burn their car down.
That's what I love.
That is how they are.
I love it.
And they get a 2 and 3% raise
Yep.
every year.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if the city has the money or not. They have better find it.
Wow.
And they will get it. So you have teachers effectively in CPS, Chicago Public Schools, who make $100,000.
Really?
Yes, because they get paid for teaching, let's say, social studies. They may get paid to be a football coach.
Wow.
They may get paid to run an after-school program. So those teachers stay. They do not have a problem with retention.
He just said it. That's the problem with Houston Independent School District. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in education. I've been a teacher for 18 years. 2 more years I could retire. Let me show what they're doing now. Because they've gotten rid of all the special ed teachers like me.
And they need special ed.
Now they're offering the certification free for these new teachers coming in.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about calibers of teachers.
Okay.
You yourself, you've done 18 years, and you have a newer teacher coming in, exceptionally younger, may even be 21 themselves.
Yes, sir.
Do they have the necessary skill sets to teach in a special ed classroom in today's age of 2025?
They do not, because number one, thanks to Mike Miles, they don't have to be certified. So you don't have to be certified.
No Type 9 certification, no anything.
No, just walk in. If you have a degree in, I'm just gonna say in dog weaving, he doesn't care.
Really?
You don't have to be certified. And I said this, I thought this. I said, how is it, I went before the school board 2 years ago, I've been going quite regularly. How is it okay you want an uncertified teacher, but you don't go to an uncertified doctor?
This is absolutely true. And I think, and I just mean speculating on the sidelines, is that they do not have enough educators to go into the system or even want to have that interest to go in.
Absolutely.
Because all of the obstacles that they have to face right here in HISD and abroad in Texas.
Absolutely. And this is not just Texas. First of all, Texas is not a collective bargaining state. We don't have.
What do you mean by that?
Basically, we can't strike.
What?
And the teachers, the way the governor and the way the Texas Constitution is written, we cannot strike.
So what actions or recourses do teachers have in the state of Texas?
What I have right now, I'm in the union, and unfortunately, even though they're fighting me, even though I lost my case, let's be clear, I lost the case, but I'm appealing. How do I appeal? Because I'm in the union, and I have a union lawyer. And I told the union lawyer, at the end of the day, if we gotta go to the Supreme Court about my case, that's what the hell we're going to do. Because I need everybody to know, because a lot of teachers are not talking like me.
That needs to be changed.
Of
if teachers are not getting the pay that they require and they need it, they really need it. You know, a teacher has to be a psychologist, whatever subject it is, teaching, counselor. You have to be a dean, a warden in some cases, depending on where you are.
Yes. And we have to feed. Let me be very clear.
Really?
A lot of times, I was a dyslexia teacher.
Okay.
I'm teaching predominantly Latino kids how to read.
Okay.
So, and a lot of times they didn't have a lot of, food or whatever. So what I would do is to help them with their learning, I would always give them a snack based on them
were doing the right
exactly. So guess what they did? They would progress because they know Miss Murray is going to help them. Let me share this with you. When ICE came on the scene, I'll never forget it. My students did not want to learn. They were afraid.
Did ICE come to the school?
No, but they thought they were.
Okay.
Because
it was the fear.
The fear. So I had to tell those students, I said, let me be very clear with you. As long as Miss Murray is in this classroom, I will not let ICE get you, and they can't come on campus anyway. But they didn't believe that because what their parents had.
Okay.
They told them.
They saw them come onto the job.
Yes,
and they said,
or
come
their
to the
homes.
job. Yeah.
So because I gave them that assurance, they were able to learn. Kids cannot learn in fear. They cannot learn when they're hungry. And they cannot learn when they feel that someone doesn't care. Just like I saw that video yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, where this teacher, Caucasian teacher was singing happy birthday to a black kid and said to the black kid, you live in a zoo and you're a monkey too. I made sure.
Okay, where was this?
Honey, on social media. I made sure everybody in the world got it.
So my question is, when a teacher does something like that, how does one get rid of such?
Well, like I did, because it was on social media.
Okay.
I immediately said she needs to be fired, and you're talking to a teacher. And so guess what I did? I started tagging CNN, MSNBC, Isaiah. I tagged everybody that I could, and then said, let's make this go viral. Last night, it was on Isaiah Carey.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I think, and everybody else was tagging it. Because I said, this is unacceptable. Remember,
It is.
social media is a very good, I think, medium right now, because the media you can't trust. The media not telling you everything.
And this is why VEDA World News exists.
And that's why I love it. Go ahead.
And I appreciate that because corporate news, and again,
You're right.
I respect all journalists.
I do.
And I do understand that we as journalists and photojournalists, we have a job to do.
Absolutely.
And if we want to keep those jobs, we have to kind of dance to the tune to the
Of
employer that we're
course.
working with. However, with corporate news and legacy news, you're not going to get this conversation.
You're absolutely
It's very
right.
unfortunate.
Yeah, but it's needed.
It is, very much so.
It's needed, but it's, because you got to look at it from all views. That's the problem
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
having with what's going on now. It is, this is amazing to me. You have and I'm just going to say the president that if you don't agree with, I'm going to take you out. That's not right. And
Okay, so we're shifting down to politics on a national level, and that's okay.
I love how you do that. I have a lot in me. Go ahead.
It's okay. But go ahead, finish what you were saying.
But, and I'm going to say this, I'm a Texans fan and an Eagles fan. Let's keep it real.
Okay.
But on football, you have an opponent.
You do.
Opponents are a part of life.
This is true.
So why do you have an issue that because I don't agree with you, you decide to want to take out Al Green's district? Come on, guys, let's stop it.
Are you a firm supporter of Al Green?
I like Al Green, but I'm more of a supporter of choice. But I like Al
Okay.
Green. But let's be honest now, we have, since you want to go there, we have a lot of people that are running for CD 18. Am I correct?
We do.
Now, let's be clear. He's not running right now. So if you're asking me what would be my 4 choices, I love Jolanda Jones. I really like Chris Menifee. You have Amanda Edwards and Isaiah Morton. Those 4 are very strong opponents.
I don't know. I'm going to give you pushback.
Give me pushback.
I'm looking as a journalist at the last debate.
Okay.
I saw the one on Wheeler.
Yeah, I was there.
That was not a good debate.
Why?
Well, they cherry picked.
Ooh.
They
okay.
did. Because there was a lot more people that was running for the District 18
You're
other
right.
than what they cherry picked on stage. Only 5 people on
Yeah,
stage.
they had Zoe. You're right.
Yeah. And then I had TJ Baker come on to the show.
Okay.
And she was supposed to be on that stage that night for the debate. They denied her, but she was also on the ballot.
Did not know that.
That's what I'm saying.
How
This is why VEDA World News is
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And so when she comes on the show and she tells me all of the stuff that's going on behind
Behind
the
the
scenes
scenes.
with the donors that would give a candidate, let's say $10,000, but tell them you can only spend $1,000 and then $9,000 left over you have to give to my choice of 501c3s. Or to the
Really?
effect of some candidates are being purposely bought out, not necessarily by a Democratic Party, but by the Republican Party. And that both parties are funding both sides. And this is giving credence to Governor Greg Abbott's claim that Harris County, Houston in particular, has some of the most corrupt politicians when it comes to running for seats in offices right here. So it's things like that. And when we look at candidates such as Amanda Edwards, who doesn't have a firm stance on Israel, you know, I'm not speaking ill.
I know, yeah.
All of these are great people, I'm quite sure, outside of
Right.
politics.
But that's why I love talking. Go ahead.
But Amanda Edwards, and I didn't mean to hog up your time.
No,
but I
no,
have
no,
to
no,
say
no,
this.
do this. No. I
But
love this.
Amanda
In my time.
Edwards she reads from a script, and if you notice, every time she comes out, she says the same thing over. And anytime someone asks her a question that's not in line with the script, she's going to fumble the ball. So even in the case of Isaiah Martin, is it?
Isaiah Morton.
He's not ready. He doesn't have the political maturity to hold on to the seat when he makes blanketed statements on a public broadcast saying, hey, all Republicans are stupid. Well, all Republicans are not stupid, no more than all Democrats are stupid.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying? Then you skip forward
Keep
to
talking.
who was Jolanda Jones, who could not directly answer any questions. She had to talk on the cell phone.
When that one time they were doing the chorus.
This is not even doing the decorum.
Oh, okay.
This is strictly with the Afro Vibes debate that occurred.
Okay,
so when
okay.
they asked her a question, she looked at the phone for a big majority of her debate, and she read. And now as a camera person, I'm a camera operator.
Was
for
you at
this
El Dorado? Is the El Dorado?
El Dorado magazine?
No, when they had the debate, was you there?
No, I was not there for
Okay.
El Dorado. This was over at the Crown Plaza.
Oh, I wasn't
So
there. Okay.
her aide was texting her answers as I'm watching this.
wow.
So when I look at the panel, there's only one or two that really stand out. And those two were independent. Vince Duncan, he's independent.
Vince, I know Vince.
Very good, great guy, very great with politics, has actionable solutions that everybody on both sides of the aisle can get with. And then you had Carmen Montreal. She is from Venezuela.
Oh, sorry.
Now
Yeah,
she's on the Republican side, but you know those are the real two strong ones that I saw. Then of course you had Mr. Huey. First name was, oh my God, he's gonna kill me if I don't know his name. Stephen Huey. He's a Democrat, very cool, calm, and collective. You know what I mean? But again, we look at that entire panel of people that we're supposed to have. The juice just wasn't really there.
What about Chris Menefee?
Chris Menefee, he still has some growing to do. He's not bad. He's forceful, not forceful in a negative way, but he's aggressive in tone. But I'm very much so worried about his actions. Because everybody can talk, but I'm worried about the action. Because when I go through the 18th district, I'm seeing things that, as a new person in Houston, people have been complaining about for decades. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I worry about.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, but I guess with the complaint, you were saying about what they complained, what was the good things they said? Because Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee I think, did a great job in City 18.
I've only been in Houston for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
So I can't speak to what
Gotcha.
she may have done or
Gotcha.
hasn't done. I do know she was widely popular, but I do understand because I went to that last rally she had on Post Oak Houston on the rooftop. I could call that mayor debate and I could say, hey, Whitmire was the winner. And not because he's super great or anything like that, but because I look at the money.
Oh, see, okay.
He had exceptionally more or significantly more money than Sheila Jackson Lee had. He had bankers where she had grassroots organizations.
Right.
And that money is always going to talk.
And money does talk, but all money ain't good money.
This is absolutely true, and I'm glad you said that. Because he's struggling right now.
And let me say this, and I'm just being honest. I've learned some of my ways from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson.
Okay.
I saw her in grassroots. I saw her speaking for the redistricting in 2021 when they tried it again and tried to take out her district. I saw her.
Why would they try to do that?
Because if you're effective and you got the numbers, why would they want you there? They don't want you there because of that.
Okay.
She had too much leverage, if you will.
Okay.
And I think that as now what they've done, guess what? We had two districts. We had 18. Well, let me say that. They had 18 and 9. I'm in Missouri County, but I can talk about it because I was born and raised. Let me say that. So they had 18 and 9.
Gotcha.
Because of her speaking and fighting in 2021, I was right there at the NAACP meeting and going and speaking to our state legislatures. It halted it. They even had it when she was out of her district. And I mean, they had to fight. So guess what? They kept on, and guess what happened? You should not have redistricting in mid-year. You have redistricting every 10 years during the census.
And that's one of the things that I did bring up. I said, well, because again, I always look at the law. Where and what is the law when it comes to redistricting? And there wasn't one. So the status quo was, like you say, every 10 years with the census. But I had to be flexible in my understanding because even though it may be the status quo for every 10 years, there isn't a law that says you couldn't do it before or even after.
And you're absolutely right. But because you have never done it outside of that.
Correct.
And because
it's that expectation that it's
exactly. And then when your president says, I need 5 more seats to make sure I win, what did your governor do?
Now, I'm going to agree with you on. I do agree with you.
I like my
but let me say this because again, I'm nonpartisan.
You should.
And I don't take sides. I am a political atheist. I'm going to say
Come
I
on, political
appreciate.
I love that.
I appreciate Donald Trump saying, "Hey, I need 5 seats."
Why do you appreciate that?
Because he didn't bullshit around. He came directly out and said what he wanted and expect for it to be done, whether it's right or wrong.
Okay, well, let me be honest with you, and I got to push back. Well, that was wrong, because
Okay.
what he's focusing on, and it's not about Republican, Democrat. You are now focusing on making sure you win. And if we want to continue, you want to win, and you shut down the government right now, but let's be.
We are in a shutdown right now.
And who is in charge of that right now? The what?
Well, yes, the
House
Republicans
and the Senate.
They are in charge.
Okay.
But again, I have to be flexible
Be
as a
flexible.
journalist,
Be
and I'm
flexible.
saying, hey, what we are experiencing in this country with inflation,
Keep talking.
not having rent control of some sort, pay not keeping up with that inflation, comes from a long, long time of us not doing what we were supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So I remember government shutdown creeps in every 3 to 7 years, something like that. It was like we almost getting ready to shut down, and at 11:59 to get something.
And
right?
I was hoping at this time too.
Right. This time I was like, shut it down.
Why?
Because we need to have that great reset. If we expect, and again, this is a geopolitical thing now,
Okay.
because if we expect to compete with likes of China, we're going to have to put ourselves in a position in order to do so, because right now we can't compete.
And let's be clear. We are in a time. He's not worried about competing with China, with anybody.
Okay.
Right now, it's about authoritarianism. He is trying to be.
But I like authoritarianism.
But that,
I do.
Well, let me be very clear. I don't. Let me say.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. I didn't sign up for that, and I don't think our founding fathers did either.
Yes, this is true.
But let me say this. And if you're gonna be that way, don't be that way for one group. I said this, and
I agree.
Let me turn it. When Charlie Kirk was killed, I, on my own Twitter, said this: political violence is wrong. But let's be very clear.
It is.
Charlie Kirk was for y'all, and they tried to compare to Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wanted justice for all. Charlie Kirk wanted just for y'all.
I'm going to go on the record and say I've never heard of it.
See, and I didn't until then. Go ahead.
But I understand the reason why most people can hear the name Charlie Kirk and put a face with a name. Prior to his assassination, essentially,
You said it. You said it. Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
I didn't.
I don't speak ill of him.
Me either.
I don't know him, but.
But I don't know if you was born in this time, but when I grew up, this is me. I've always been a person that wanted to see what the other side said. So
Yeah.
I used to always listen to Rush Limbaugh.
Okay.
And I did that just to know what they were thinking.
Thank you. You have to know
That's
your
all I
opponent.
did.
You have to.
Yeah, and so he was almost like the mini Rush Limbaugh was what I was told. However, I did not agree with him being unalived.
Yeah.
But let's be very clear. It is okay to have your political beliefs.
It is.
But you can't be such that you want to go out and
Kill somebody.
Yeah, I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. You can, and that's what I'm seeing. And it's almost our president is saying, if you don't agree with me, just like he did with Al Green, I'm gonna take, and they did it. They did it. And you said a good point. It's not against the law to do the census, but why did you do it?
Right. The expectation, people are questioning, why are you making the move now when you could have made it 20 years ago?
And let me say this: I don't like it. I respect what Senator King is a state of Texas, one of the
Okay.
senators. He said, we're doing this, and he's a Republican, said this, we're doing it for political performance. He's telling you why he did.
I appreciate people who are direct
He
and
was
honest
direct.
with me.
Yeah.
Versus how you say BSing around.
Fluffing.
Yeah. That fluff.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
I didn't agree with it. Let me say, yeah, I'm glad you told me that, but it didn't make it right because you're telling me the truth. It don't. You know what? Just because I'm just giving you an example. You're my husband, and you're telling me, yeah, I love you, but I messed over you. So you think you never had no consequences behind that? Well, I told you the truth, baby. I told you the truth.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. There is repercussions
That's all
for
I'm saying.
anything that happens, whether it's positive. or negative.
Exactly. That's all.
Correct.
That's my point. Yes, that's why I ran for office. You know why I ran for office? I said, if Trump can run for office, I damn sure can run. And that's what I did.
And I think that
He opened
that's
it
a
up.
good way for people
Yeah,
to think.
he did.
If one person can do it, if it's good enough for them, and I feel like I can do it, then it's good enough for me.
Absolutely,
And that's a
absolutely.
great way to have
Absolutely.
it in our mindset.
You got to have that. And me being on council, let me share this. When I got on council, I was the only black woman there. It was predominantly a white council. And my focus was always just about, and again, I ran for county commissioner. I'm still friends with most of the Missouri County elected officials who are Caucasian.
Okay.
Why? And I don't push this on anybody, but one thing our Republicans people love is Jesus Christ. They may hate us, but they love Jesus. And guess who else loves Jesus? Arnetta Murry. So that puts, and so when they see me in that vein, it's not that they understand she's a Democrat, but she does love. So that's how and so I even tell them, but you say you love Jesus, but you don't want me here. I don't understand that. So again, I think that what I bring to the table is not fluff. I'm just really what I am. You got to, because each situation carries a cause and effect. What's the cause and the effect?
Correct.
And so you got to look at it. You cannot look at things so individualized. You got to make sure that you're making decisions where all the impact, whether you gay, straight, Republican, whatever. And that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a nation of if you're not this, we got to get rid of you.
There is a positive and negative to everything.
Go ahead.
There really is.
I'm glad we're having this.
Over my lifetime, I've reached a point where I got really tired of people saying, "Hey, I'm Haitian American," or "I'm Black American," or "I'm Irish or Scottish American," or whatever they come from. And I said to myself, why not just simply be an American? I think that those divisions, and this is Hispanic Heritage Month, and this is Black History. I just really think that right now we're a little bit beyond that. We're to the point now where the younger generation, they really don't care.
And that's true. That is true.
They really just want things to work.
Absolutely.
They don't care how really it works, just as long as it works.
Absolutely.
And I'm there with them on this particular topic.
But let's be honest. If you know anything about Charlie Kirk, which we're learning about, he went to the college campuses to change those minds. And that being said, in the utopia world, you're absolutely right. We want it to work, but unfortunately, we got.
That's not what the powers.
That's not reality. There's no way I have to go to different venues, and when I'm in there, when I walk in, and I'm just being honest, and they see me, the Caucasian, they not even address me until somebody says, she's a councilwoman. Then you want to talk to me? No, boo.
No, I'm in those same exact
I
rooms
know
as
you
a
are.
journalist.
I shouldn't, but we shouldn't be.
We shouldn't be, but unfortunately, this is America.
Absolutely.
And I can attest to this when I go to like CERAWeek, where your billionaires from State Street, BlackRock, oil, gas, energy, and tech. When they're there, I'm the only.
I know you are.
Black American journalist there. When I go to the analytics booth over at Dyken Park, and they have all of these Big Ten college games and all of this going on, I'm the only black journalist there. Right. So I do recognize that double consciousness that W. Du Bois talked about back in the day. I'm a sociologist, by the way, that's why I can say that.
I love it.
But I am very aware of where you're coming from with that.
But it shouldn't be that way.
It's very unfortunate, but that's the reality that we unfortunately are forced to live in.
You're right. Yeah. And I never thought in my age, at 59, that I would be going, it's like we're going back. One thing I did say that Dr. King, what he did gave my era a jubilee time. You said what you said earlier. You said we got lazy. Not lazy, but we got complacent. We should have been working back then, but we were so happy to be free. And now I thank God that He's kept me and preserves me that I can march.
and I get it. And again, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm gonna interject here as a part of personal privilege, and I'm gonna say, I think that if we cannot achieve one America, that's the coin that I like to use, a one America. It doesn't matter where you come from, if you got a social security card and a driver's license, and you're born here, you're American. If we can never reach that point, I would much rather us go back to separate but equal.
Really?
I do. Because I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me.
Because when you look at education back then, Black Americans were greatly educated versus than what we are now. And when you go back to Dr. King, he says, I believe I made a mistake. I've integrated my people into a burning house. I'm paraphrasing. That was that moment of truth when he realized that, hey, integration is not the best thing for us. Maybe separate and equal was a good thing. Now, the youth today would never go for such. And I do understand that. People like each other, they share different hobbies or whatever, I get it. But the more older I get, the more conservative I become. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really become conservative over the years, not like Republicans, but just values. And I look at where we came from. We were better off as Black Americans when we were separated.
But did we have any type of decision making?
We had decision making within our demographic. We may not have had it on the national level, but when you came and you went into a Black neighborhood back then, that grass was cut and it was lined up. Those children had 2-parent homes. You know, moms were cooking dinner every night.
My mom was.
But more importantly, mom knew where those kids were. So when I sit down and talk to someone now, as a woman, I say, where your kids at? She's all, they're at daycare. That's where you believe they are at until you get you a phone call. You don't know where your kids are. So when you get your kids from a daycare and then you look at them, and I'm quite sure you as a mom, you probably looked at your kids pretty strange too, and you said, I ain't raised him to do that. Where he get that from? Where she get that from? I didn't raise them to be that way. Well, that's primarily because, again, you're not knowing where your kids are, what they're doing.
And let me say this, I can also speak, one thing I can speak from being I was single parent, married, divorced. So all walks of life, I've been there. Let me be very clear, being a single mother was not easy.
It's not.
And let me say this, I was a single mother because at that time I was just being fast. See, I can say what but.
See, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the honesty. The viewers appreciate that because not everybody can get up here and testify.
And I remember I was a pre-K kid, so I got blasted by my dad and mom.
Okay.
And so I will never forget, I had 3 kids and right now I have 5 kids, 3 baby daddies. So I can tell my story. See, I can tell my story. So that being said, but my last kids, the twins, were was married to their dad. So let me tell you why I said this. I never forget, I got, of course, did what I had to do, and my dad said, and I had that lazy mindset. I'm tired, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. My daddy told me I never forget this as long as I live. Those kids are your responsibility. You laid there and had them. And I wanted to go out. He would never keep my kids for me to go out to go clubbing. He said, if you're going to work and going to school, I'll help you with those kids. That's the only way. And I got tired. What did it for me? I would see women on the bus and just men in and out of their homes and all of that with their kids. I didn't want that.
Understand.
A lot of us as Black women first of all, sadly, I started off, the dad wasn't in their lives. He eventually went to jail. I wanted me to come there and speak on his behalf. I can say this. Speak on his behalf because the girl said he raped her. But he didn't rape me, and he wanted me to speak on his behalf, and I told him this. I told him that months before, I said, one day, you're going to need me, and I'm not going to be there. Guess what?
That part.
That's what happened, but I still persevered. I got my degree with my 3 kids on my back. I never forget, I was at TSU. I went to TSU, and I wanted to get on welfare. I didn't graduate from TSU, but I went there. And Dr. Jackson, I wanted to get on welfare. She said, welfare spelled backwards is farewell to your existence. Farewell to your own
And
thinking.
it is a true statement, unfortunately.
I did, and she's right. I had those 3 kids in those apartments, and guess what? I didn't get on welfare. I worked my ass off and went to school.
So that's where that Republican light that people identify you with oftentimes comes from.
Exactly.
Okay,
I
did
that. I did that, and I did not want to be a statistic as far as I was one, but I didn't want to be one. So I had to persevere and push through. Now, do I still love men? Absolutely. But I'm in a different place in my life right now. So that being said, that's what I did. I think what these single women do, they are so focused on dick instead of getting their lives together and sacrificing for their kid. They just don't give a flip.
It's very hard. I know we're transitioning from geopolitics down to a family structure, and that is fine. we've reached a point where men do not want to marry women.
This man
We
is
were
deep.
on a,
Deep.
I was running camera operations for I guess a religious thing this past Saturday, and a lot of women there, it typically is. And they're saying, we can't find husbands, we can't
Come on.
find anybody to talk to. And, you know, they had that Q&A portion, and that's when I said what I said. I said,
you
hey,
say?
listen, there is no incentive
Oh, come on.
for men to marry women now.
Come on, talk now.
It's too much legal stuff. It takes a man a lifetime to acquire things, whereas a woman is already born with everything that she needs.
You think so?
Yes. We have to go out there. We got to go build. We got to go learn. We got to go. We got to be out there, right? And so it takes us about 40 years to really have something that we can say, we have something. And then you get married to someone, and out of a no-fault divorce and divorce court, she can come take half your stuff.
Okay.
And after she finished taking half of your stuff, she can come get alimony out of that. But once you get the alimony, you got children, she can go ahead and get that child support from you too. So now you're finding yourself back at square one as a man. And there is no recourse for that. On top of that, then there's the allegations. Because I remember this football player guy checked in, I believe at the Marriott or something like that. He shook a couple of hands, signed a couple of autographs. He went up to his room.
Okay.
Nobody came in that room with him. 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he gets a knock on the door from the police. They get him dressed, and they take him downtown. They're saying, hey, this young lady's filing a case on you because you sexually assaulted her. And he was on the camera. He lost endorsements. He will never get them back, even though his name is cleared.
Wow.
So there is absolutely no incentive for men to marry women in America.
Now, that's a deep statement. Let me say this. I'll share this with my son. I share this with other men. There are some bad women, lethal women. I have to teach my twins that. I said, but at the end of the day, this is what I do see, is that there are a lot of good women, but it's not a lot of good women for particular men. Some kind of way, it's got to be a balance. And what I'm saying, let me be very clear. I hang with a lot of women that are good quality women. Unfortunately, because they think, let me say this, and I'm trying to teach people to speak life to yourself. They think it's not a lot of good men. I say, if you think there's not a lot of good men, that's what it's going to be.
This is true.
You have to change your narrative and know there are a lot of good men, but who is good for Arnetta? Who's good for her soul?
So we have 53% of men are childless and single.
Okay.
That's what we have. You know, in the black community, I believe well over half have reached the middle class.
Okay.
So that's all, those are 2 pluses right there. So there is a lot of men, just like there's probably a lot of good women.
But we feel as black women, let's go there, that y'all do not want the black women, you want the Caucasian woman.
We do.
I know, that.
But there's a reason for that.
Okay.
It is not to say that the white woman or the Caucasian woman is a better woman. No,
Okay.
no. It's what's associated with it.
Okay.
So like, for instance, if a white Caucasian woman comes from a well-to-do family, upwardly mobile, and she dates a black person, probably the next white man she meets will never marry her because he understands the type of trauma that goes on within our communities. And he doesn't want to be associated with that.
You're right.
Right? Money hates noise. Every single day of the week, right? But for black American men, we don't just necessarily, and to the point now, we really don't even want white women like that. We would prefer for a woman from Thailand or something like that.
We really switching gears, ain't we?
Well, yes, we are switching gears. But this is a conversation, like a variety show almost.
Yeah.
But this is a conversation that must be had.
I agree.
And so black American men who really want that peace of mind, that really want that stability, who are looking at the numbers, because it's really a numbers game when we really start to look at it. We're shying away from black American women for women who give us peace.
Wow.
We don't want to have to go out into the world and have to be black, and then we have to be black and worry about police. Then we have to be black and worry about police, and then worry about hypertension. Now we got to be black, worry about the police, worry about hypertension. Now we have to worry about some crazy person killing us. And now we have to come home and deal with you. We're tired. So we want someone who understands
The
the
dynamics.
pressures. You know, just like when, you know, the good, well-to-do white guy comes home, he has a meal. That Mexican 10-year-old child who's a boy, you know, he get more respect in Mexico than the Black American men do right here in this country.
And let me say, I cannot disagree with that, but let me say this. I think the dynamics are made differently. Let me say this. When I
They
grew
are.
up, my mom and dad, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad worked. But remember, she was able to give him that piece because she didn't have to work outside the...
Right, and that brings me to the next thing.
Go ahead.
Women should leave the workforce.
We would love to lead the workforce if we were able to lead the workforce because as you know, as I stated earlier, I was a single parent. Yes, and I was a single parent because I did some things, but at the end of the day, when that joker still got out and was free, he didn't pick me, he picked somebody else who didn't have kids. And then-
Unfortunately.
And let me, I don't want, see, one thing I don't do, I could give a name, but you know what, I don't want to do it.
But I am not telling her to censor herself. She can say and do whatever
I'm not
she
gonna
likes.
give because I don't want to give people relevancy. I could, but I'm not. So my mom gave my dad peace because she wasn't out there in the workforce
Correct.
dealing with the unnecessary piece. Now, let me tell you what I learned in my marriage when because we don't do that enough. We gotta assess ourselves.
True.
Because I was working and doing everything, I was not my ex-husband's piece. I was fussing, and what made me really appreciate black men is when I got in politics, and I saw what you guys really were going through.
What do you mean by that?
When I was married, I was, I just wasn't, I felt like you're not giving me what I need, you're not loving me, and, you treat me bad, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't understand what he was dealing with outside until when I became political, if you will, and I'm seeing how black men are really being treated. I'm seeing what's really going on. And what we don't do is personalize what the world what's happening in the world.
Okay.
I said, wait a minute. If I understood that he's hated in the workforce, he's hated political, maybe I should have...
We have to shrink ourselves when we come
have to
around.
Yes. Maybe I would have still been married, and I would have shut my mouth. And so that's what I'm trying to tell black women. Hey, wait.
But they will never listen to you.
Well, if they would stop competing. Let me share this way. I was at a venue. I was at the Congressional Black Caucus.
Okay.
Talking to this guy. This guy know him well. 2 women, black women, came and actually was trying to flirt with him. They didn't know he was with me, but they didn't give a darn. Black women need to quit fighting each other over a man.
I don't really.
Go ahead.
I won't
Push
say
back.
that. No, I'm not giving you the pushback. I don't think. I think
That's what I thought.
competing for a man is good.
Why?
Because we have to understand something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Other groups of women compete for their men, and they turn out relatively successful.
What other group? Because other time they're
Indian
prearranged. Indian women it's prearranged. They don't have to compete. It's prearranged.
No, they do compete. They compete in their own ways.
How?
Right? To not compete for a man is to say you don't see him as worthy.
You know what? I think with the different situations, the different life challenges that women have, having kids, being there, trying to understand, I shouldn't have to compete. You ought to give me the love that I need.
Okay, if women do not compete, let's say we go with that. Women do not compete. Women have to very least qualify.
Qualify how? What's
Okay, so when we look at that, right, I'll use myself for an
Okay.
example.
Okay.
I don't talk to women like that. I really don't. I just don't,
Okay.
right? But let's say that if I were looking, she would have to be between the ages of 18 to 25. She would have to weigh anywhere between 100 to 115 pounds. And, she would have to have certain qualities that are conducive to
what you like,
what
your
I-
preference.
Yeah, right? But on average, women don't meet the basics. And those basics are you fit?
Physically?
Physically fit. We're not saying you have to work out and run track. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, can you push a plate away? You're past 180 pounds and you're 5'2". You weigh more than the man at your height and age. that doesn't attract us. You become invisible to us, the vast majority.
And I can say this, I know women that have fit the mold, and because their emotional instability and
This is also
attitude.
true.
So at the end of the day, no one is perfect.
No, not about being perfect.
No, but I am sick of criteria because there are many people that have met the criteria. And that person still, because they have some issues, insecurity within themselves,
Correct.
make it
Difficult.
absolutely.
I understand that.
I see you do.
I certainly do, but again, we as men, we have standards put on top of us. And we are taught from a very early age that if we don't meet this, this is where you're going to be and this is how you're going to be seen. And we learn that as early as 5. So we go through our entire life like that. And then so we see the world like that.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? We see that, say, this woman here, she's not here. She does not checking these boxes. I can't. It's not nothing negative, or wrong with the woman. It's just that she doesn't meet that criteria. And everybody has criteria, whether we admit it or not. We all do.
We all do, but you're younger, and so I have criteria as
Correct.
well. But I'm realistic in the criteria because I know of my flaws and deficiencies.
Right.
So that being said, I can't expect, for me. Trust me, I'm not no 300 pounds, but I don't expect that person to weigh 100.
And that's the difference between men and women. We don't care about what we got going on. We want what we want.
Interesting. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not a whole lot of introspection that's involved in that. It's either does she fit this A, B, and C? She doesn't. I am off to the next.
Yeah, and sadly that is true. And for me, I'm more of holistic. I want what's in your mind, what's going on with your soul, what's going on with all
We
of
want
that.
that too.
But the first thing I want is this.
Yes, because we are visual by nature.
But you know what? You'd be surprised. Women are just as visual.
I believe it to be so
Oh, I
true.
know that. I can tell you when I see a guy that I like, I say he can get that.
You heard it first. She said it first. We didn't say that. We're going to go to a commercial. We're back at VEDA World News. My name is Michael Thurville, photojournalist and sociologist, and we are speaking with a very special person. I will re-let her introduce herself again. Ma'am, go ahead.
I'm Arnetta Murry, councilwoman in the city of Iowa Colony, Texas, in Brazoria County.
Brazoria County, Texas. Make sure you get that on the map, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a fantastic time speaking with her. We've touched on anything from politics, geopolitics, national issues, the Trump administration, all the way back down to, ironically, relationships, which we never talk about here at VEDA World News, but most definitely it was a pleasure to be able to devote some information on that and, bring two perspectives side by side for you guys to kind of have fun with. What do people need to know about you? What do they need to know?
Oh my God! Just know that I'm here to support. Yesterday we was here for a schooling, and she asked me what did I do when I was in school. I told her I was a booster. A booster supports. So that's all I do is support. I've been supporting in so many avenues of life and in different venues. So I'm a supportive person, mother of 5 grown and praise God gone kids that I pray for every day because I know, as Michael has said earlier, the society in which we live in. I have 4 sons and a daughter. So you can imagine what I go through as a mother. And so if anything else, you ask me what I want people to know about me is that, number one, I'm not perfect. Number one, I'm a daughter. The only child of Reverend James C. Hicks and Onita Hicks.
Okay.
And I'm only doing what I saw my dad as a minister, as working at the post office, as being a veteran, he did going into the communities, making a difference.
Understood. And where can people find you?
Oh my God, you can find me on any other social media. I'm on TikTok, Arnetta Murry. I'm on Instagram, Arnetta Murry. I'm on Facebook, Arnetta Murry. And then I have a Facebook page called Councilwoman Murry. So all you gotta do is look, you can Google me, boo. When you Google my name, I'm gonna come up.
Are you going to be running for office?
Oh yes, this is, look, hopefully, well, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
I am running for re-election, and that's in May of 2026, and that's for a councilwoman as well. But I've been in office for 7 years, guys, and so I try to use that platform to help go across different counties, Fort Bend County, what do you call that, Harris County. That our colony wouldn't have been even known if, thank God, I just used that and just tried to get it out there. So yeah.
Understood. Well, most definitely, Arnetta Murry, remember the name, out of Missouri County. I have to look at this to look at that. That is the city of Iowa County. Colony.
See, I'm gonna do the teacher part. It's Iowa Colony, Texas, okay?
Iowa County, Texas.
Now, and I live in the county of what? Missouri County.
There we go. So you guys heard it here first, right here
Thank
on
you.
VEDA World News. Ma'am, it was an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for
And I
having
am
me.
actually looking forward to having you here again.
I will come back. He already knows that. LeBeau knows that. When you need me, Arnetta Murry is here.
And yes, she is. Thank you very much. Ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Holla. I like to have fun. Y'all gonna know that. You gotta have fun.